Stay there.
Ozzy, gonna stay.
Stay. Nope. Nope. You're not going out.
I'll go first.
You want to listen to Elmo today? Or yeah, let's listen to Elmo. Is this it? No, that's not it. Hold on, we're gonna get to Elmo. Elmo slide. Sesame Street alphabet. Here we go. No.
I like Cookie Monster too.
Turkey Monster.
Cookie Monster. Whoa!
I'm not taking on so fast.
I don't know. I'm going too fast because there's too many cars. Whoa! I don't know what to do. Do I turn off here? I don't know. I don't know. Papa Chango, focus. Iggy, what do I do?
Then he
I don't know what.
after he gets out the having
Hey, come on. You know, you get bored. Like, oh God, it's time to pick her up yet. I want to. What are we gonna do today? Go to the park? Are we gonna go swimming? And just try to enjoy it as much as possible. Because I know in like 8 years she won't want to talk to me. I tend to work at night. It's just easier for me because there's no distraction. I don't really listen to music in there. I just kind of keep the screen door closed and listen to the crickets or the coyotes. You know, when I go in there and screen print or work on a drawing, if I have to project something or sketch for a little bit like that, that's good during the day because I have access to, you know, to a hose, and it's pretty loud when you spray a hose on the screen outside, and it just makes a ton of mess everywhere. But usually I prefer working from 9 to midnight. It's just easier.
I know, so good. I
A friend of mine was telling me, like, we were talking about how our generation is just so manic about collecting and having ephemera and, you know, the nostalgia of it. And she made a good point. She's like, we're the scholastic book fair generation. So you would go there and get the Ferrari poster, you get the little Weeble thing, you collect as many books as you can and hold on to those. And so I think, like, you know, you become a teenager and you start collecting posters, CDs, like records, flyers for things you're into. And a lot of this stuff, I mean, these are kind of in different tiers of my life, I guess. You know, it started with like Sonic Youth. And then I realized, like, this connected so much that over the years, all my work started to create a grid. And I just realized that a couple months ago. I'm like, holy shit, like, you're so inspired by something you see as a kid that it stays with you forever. And then later on you realize, like, wow, this is something that really, again, changed my life as far as an artist. And then this is kind of my self-portrait. It's just humorous. But it's all stuff, again, it's like little tchotchkes that I've had and photos. There's me with Jessica Rabbit when I was a kid. And then again, it's like I'm trying to tell stories. So you have, you know, Mike Kelly, this white boy that brings you to Irish for a day. You know, and then that brings you to Jessica Rabbit. And then I can't believe I forgot to have kids. And then there's a guy holding, Jim Jones holding an ape. And then it goes to me holding a dog. And it just tells this story. Hi there, you look like shit. Is that the style now? There's a baseball player named Brendan Donnelly, and I guess he lost a World Series championship. And this guy kept emailing me, like, I'm gonna fucking kill you. It was in my Hotmail account. It's like, I'm gonna fucking kill you. I can't believe I lost all this money on your shitty pitching. And I showed a friend the email, and he recognized the address. And it was a guy that he worked with at an ad agency. And so I hit him back and told him, like, hey, you know, Jim, like, I want to work with you guys at so-and-so agency. You worked with my friend, blah, blah, blah. Like, do you want me telling your boss about this? And I just thought it was super funny. But yeah, these are all little, just, I mean, they're funny, it's depressing. You know, my wife is psychotic. It's old, you know, just old biker helmet pet stickers, and then how do you spell divorce? So it kind of, Like these are two of my best friends right here when we were younger. It's my friend Dave and Homer. And this is Dave's grandma, who was one of the coolest people. She was hilarious. And that's her, I believe it's her harmonica. Dave just sent it to me. But she played harmonica all the time. And yeah, so these are all just little self-portraits. This is the self-portrait that, you know, like to drink, contain alcohol, and then this is one of my favorite jokes, which brings you to, I'm a schizophrenic, so am I. Turns out I'm as stupid as I look. Like it's funny. This is all funny to me. So I wanted to make this my self-portrait rather than, you know, I don't think I'd be able to paint a self-portrait of myself or do a drawing of it. It wouldn't be as fun. But I like that more. And it's telling a story, which I like to do. This show at the Guggenheim, again, changed my life seeing it for the first time. And I probably went to it like 3 or 4 times when it first hit, and it was seeing all of Richard Prince's work, paintings, everything put together. And it to this day, that's still one of the best shows I've ever been to. And I loved Warhol, and somebody gave me this, or I bought it at a flea market when I was in college. And he was also a big inspiration, because I think a lot of my work has to do with pop culture, and these two guys are the best at doing pop culture. The screen printing process, which when I was in school, that was something that I fucking loved. Like, I really enjoyed the mechanics of screen printing, the fact that you could never get a perfect one, and if you did, it was like a pat on the back. And that led to printing t-shirts and printing on, you know, canvas and wood, and using my artwork when I, you know, more drawings at the time, kind of launched my interest in fashion. And that, again, like, was a launching pad to pretty much what I do now. You know, I've been doing it for like 25 years, and it's always evolving. It's good to go from drawing, screen printing, collaging, and just figuring out a way to like throw it all together and see what works. But I don't know, it's culture vulture stuff. I enjoy it. But these two guys definitely helped me think outside the box as far as, you know, an artist. Same with Mike Kelly and all those dudes. But yeah, so these are the flat files, just literally everything that I collect, broken up into different categories, obviously. And there's really no direction, but like if I want to do a series on, you know, like devils, cemeteries, and then kind of create the story from there. So if you have like, parents slay teen, deny bond, and then it goes into No Lives Matter, and then is it too late to say sorry? Here we have this photo I got of it's like a high school project somebody did. On the back, it was a high school photo project, and he hung himself. Kind of dark, but yeah. Then it goes into, you know, like casket photos, and you could bring that into reasons to cry, and then it tells the story from there. So what's a reason to cry? Like 8 million ways to die, a reason to cry. So all these kind of tie together to tell the story. I really think telling a story is important, just because I like writing. And with every single category, subculture, I don't know, I collect books that also tie into it. Like, here's a whole book on just really fucked up books about America. These are all books on Satan, so that tied into this project. And I wanted to display all the books because I was manically collecting them, so I'll pull out a few of them. This is all stuff that has to do with like Satan, the occult. I don't read any of this shit, but I really love the covers. And these are just all books on Satan, the devil. I don't believe in the shit, but it ties into the work again. where it's like this manic collecting, and then photo resourcing. And then this is like a binder I bought of. Some kid made it, I think. But it's all her collectibles of guitars, photos, and this was made probably in the 80s. It's just clippings, cutouts, and you can see how even somebody making a scrapbook when they were a kid or teenager inspired by something has turned into the same thing that I do. Not saying that this came first before any of these collages, but it just goes to show that when I do collect, you find other people that source everything into categories and stuff. Two of my favorite artists that work in one subject matter, so they'll come up with a concept and then start to manically like collect as many photos that they can from that topic. So like the Hooters photos for this new project I'm doing, I just start collecting as many Hooters photos that I can get, and then people give them to me, but that's one topic of like Hooter girls. And then, you know, having like one of my favorite people that do this is Hans Peter Feldman and Carmen Winnett, because they, and Terrence Simon, they'll find a topic and just roll with it to create an entire story. Like right now, I've been collecting all these photos of people getting arrested. I don't know how this started, but I was going through files and was like, oh, here's another arrest photo, another one. And then I was collecting like police t-shirts forever. So that's gonna tie into something. I don't know what, but it's going into kind of what they do, where it's just a hyper-focused subject matter. And so now every day I'll like pick up a newspaper, go through files, find magazines. I don't know if I'm gonna make any paintings out of this, but it's just part of a series. And like, you know, whereas the changes, the thing on evolution and early man is now I'm trying to piece together a timeline of just my version of evolution from Big Bang to funny creepy cavemen and bikers and metalheads, and then see where that goes and then make paintings from it. Whereas, you know, the process to do this is taking a subject matter like this, and for the last show in the book Orion, it was using elements from these to create the works, not just having the found photos and found clippings or whatever, but the actual analog photos, and then creating a story from all these. And I wanted to do the double entendre of metal on metal, but then the whole project took on a totally different meaning because my dog passed away, and all of these works went from, you know, just simple subject matter of like guitars to Gene Simmons. I don't really like Kiss, but I like Gene Simmons, like his makeup. I was always into that. I never even listened to this really. I just like the idea of him. But these took a different meaning, where it's like you have the darkness to the light, because I was in a dark place, and these were made, literally he died, I had the show coming up, and I spent a week in the studio and listened to kind of the same songs over and over again. You know, just like this. And then the process to do these, like you have the different emotions going through loss, anger, based on photos of, you know, the musicians in this. So everything from this one turned into more of a personal body of work of like just being super depressed and remembering the good times, but also dealing with all the emotions that I was having. And I just locked myself in here for a week and worked. But the process to do these is what I really like, because it's more hands-on and mechanical. So I go to a place and I get aluminum, metal, and it's where a lot of the welders go. So I'm there in you know, a t-shirt and asking questions about what chemicals to use on metal, and there's guys literally like welding buildings, and so it's kind of funny to talk with those dudes that work there. But it's a process to do this. I take the metal, I have to put chemicals on it, and then there's this chemical called Alumiblack, and that, after I dry brush all this stuff, the Alumiblack creates a chemical that turns everything black. So you can see in here, I have a better example, like right over here. Sorry to make you move around a bit, but it creates this compound that turns everything black, gray, depending on how long you leave it. It's just total alchemy, which I think is really cool because you never know what you're gonna get. And then I brush that into the metal and it sets, and then I, you know, get the screenshot. And it's really, since I have no help, it's just me doing it. Some of them come out clean, some are really shitty and I start over, but it's just really loose and you never know what you're gonna get with the image, which I really like. And that's one of my favorite things about screen printing. But this was all individual, and since I'm pulling it, some of them are darker. I was using different inks for this, and they just created a whole story. I mean, it's, you know, it's heavily inspired by old Warhol prints, celebrities, and then the technique. It's like what Rauschenberg's technique works on metal. So putting this subject matter together created a totally different narrative. You need a nap.